Hi guys, welcome back to another book haul. If you're wondering like where in the world are all these books going, I got bookshelves. I got a little bit of space left. A number of years ago, I pretty much got rid of all the books I owned, and then we got all these bookcases, and I was like, you need books to put on them. So yeah, I definitely gotta like slow down the purchasing, but I also have a fairly decent sized unhaul to do here in the near future, so yeah. I guess this is my form of entertainment, and most of these books were either free or really cheap. Like I do a lot of like thrifted books. I like going to secondhand stores and seeing what kind of steals I can find, I guess. Like not literal steals, but good deals on books. Yeah, so I have a ton of books here and let's just get into them. So my daughter and I went to the thrift store one day because she wants to do like book scavenger type thing and hide books around our area. And we kind of want to put that up for local homeschoolers to go and find these books. But of course, wouldn't you know, like the one time that you go in looking for books to do something like book scavenger with, like you find all the good books. And that is where I found Ruta Sepetys Between Shades of Grey. Now I listened to this one on audio earlier this year. So this is a historical fiction in June 1941, but we're in Lithuania, which is a country that I never like heard anything about for World War II. And this story, well, all of Ruta Sepetys' works, they just really stick with me. I feel like she goes about history in such a different way. I love that she has very little to no swearing in her books. I don't remember any. You know, there's no like graphic scenes, but yet she still like breaks my heart for the horrors that have happened in history. And so this one we follow a 15-year-old girl who is preparing for art school and looking forward to the summer, and then her family gets taken and her separated from her father. Her mom and her brother and her go and they work in a prison camp, and it's such a heartbreaking story and so well done though at the same time. Highly recommend any of her books. Then in a totally different note, I got another one of the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. I am just collecting all of these books, and unfortunately like half of them that I have are in paperback and the other half are in hardcover. But this is The Miracle at Speedy Motors. I really wish they would like put numbers on the back of books. I don't know where this is in the series. Oh, this is after the last one that I currently own. So this is probably like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And then in yet a different vein, I got this like bind up of Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials. So this is The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. Oh my goodness, this lighting. So I got a different one of his books in an earlier thrift haul, and someone said you got to read this series first. And often I do see The Golden Compass at thrift stores, but the thrift store that I was at, well, really any of them, it's cheaper to buy like a huge bind up of books because there's generally a set price for books. So I got 3 for the price of 1. So yeah, this will go on my TBR cart pretty soon, but I will hopefully just take it one book at a time because this is a lot of pages here. And then I got C.S. Lewis's Out of the Silent Planet. This is part of his, what is it? Oh, his space trilogy. I didn't realize it was so skinny though. I thought I had gotten the whole trilogy in a book from the library like a few years ago, and I thought it was quite thick. So I was expecting something more here when I ordered this one, but I got that one anyway. So it's like a science fiction, an adult science fiction series, I think. And then on a way different genre here, we have A Time to Stand. This is a Christian, it just says fiction in the back. Oh yes, so we follow a young African-American attorney who's living her dream practicing law with a prestigious firm in downtown Atlanta. Then a split-second mistake changes the course of her career forever. I have kind of like come across Robert Whitlow's name a few times, so I wanted to check out a few of his books. And oh, here. I think like the day after I ordered this book, I went thrifting and I found one of his books at the thrift store This is unfortunately book 2 in a series in, what genre is this? Legal fiction, it says. So I'll have to like see if I can find book 1 somewhere, but I thought I couldn't pass this up because it was really cheap. So I got 2 of his books now. Then I managed to find a book which I always saw in thrift stores before, and then when I started thinking like, oh, I should like add that book to my collection, then I couldn't find it anywhere. But I'm so glad I found it finally, and that is The Book Thief. I really enjoy this book. I listened to it on audio, and I just saw there's like a picture drawn in here. Okay, I haven't actually seen the hard copy before, or I haven't like read the hard copy before, but I really enjoyed the audiobook and I really enjoyed the movie, and this is just one of the books that I wanted to own. And yeah, and I'm glad it's not like a movie edition hardcover because, oh, this is an anniversary edition with new content. Is that why there's like one random picture in here? No, there's multiple pictures. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, one for the shelves anyway. Also, I guess I could too if I always wanted. I'm planning on starting a little free library here really soon once my husband and my son build it for me, and so that one might go in there. I don't know if I'm going to reread it, but we'll see. Then I got Brant Hansen's Blessed Are the Misfits. Holly from Lovely Day with Holly raves about Brant Hansen a lot to me, so I thought I would grab this. I actually don't know what it is. It's great news for believers who are introverts, spiritual strugglers, or just feel like they're missing something. Oh, well, I'm definitely an introvert, so we will see how that goes. Okay, and then I bought a book that I have like very low expectations for, but I was like, well, why not? So this is The Truth Teller. This is a Christian, it says contemporary fiction on the back, but it's Bethany House Publishers. So it says, her son possessed a gift others would stop at nothing to control. So I think it says the potential for a genetic super race is in the hands of a desperate mother and about to lose her only son. So I don't know. This one is, it seems quite old. What's the year on this? 1999? I mean, Christian fiction from 1999, I kind of have low expectations for, but I don't know. I thought about leaving it and then I was like, nah, I'll just grab it. And if it's terrible, I'll get rid of it down the road. And I got a ton of C.S. Lewis's classics. So this one has Mere Christianity, The Screwtape Letters, Miracles, The Great Divorce, The Problem of Pain, Grief Observed, The Abolition of Man, and The Four Loves. I already own The Screwtape Letters, and I have another one of these on my TBR cart actually, but I wanted to get the other ones anyway, and I figured it was probably cheaper just to like buy the huge book. So that's what we've got there. Then someone recommended, I think it might have been Shalise from Sodbuster Living, that I read more Alton Gansky. I think one of the stories in this book is by him. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, that's a male. So Shalise, I think she recommended like some specific ones that I read of his, but I happened to find this one at the thrift store, and it's a library copy. It's a school library copy from the school that I went to from grades 5 to 12. So I thought that was kind of funny. But like sometimes I wonder, when you find library copies at the thrift store, are they like actually withdrawn, or did someone just like forget to return it for a really long time to the library and then eventually just dropped it off at the thrift store? Sometimes I feel bad when I buy books like that I'm like, I don't really know if that should really be out there. Anyway, this one's called A Small Dose of Murder. It says she's dedicated to saving lives, so why are her patients dying? 2 patients dead, coincidence, malpractice, or murder? So we'll see how that goes. I mean, the cover though, low expectations there, but whatever. Also, this looks like it might be part of a series. I'm not sure where it would fall in that series. This is another 1999 published Christian fiction. Doesn't say where it is in that series. Oh, another. This is a historical fiction. This is Vienna Prelude. This book is book 1 in the Zion Covenant. I read this book couple years ago and really enjoyed it. So this is like a different take on the beginning of, I think it's pre-World War II, and we follow a violinist in the Vienna Orchestra. And I thought this book was really good. And this one thrift store that I go to like always has the books in this series, and then I think there's the Zion Chronicles as well. And I was hoping to go and find this one, and then of course I couldn't find it, but I found it somewhere else. Unfortunately, it's like the small mass market paperback kind of edition, but I really enjoyed the series and I would like to continue with it because this made me aware of a lot more of the pre-World War II history that I was unaware of before, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, this next one is The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. When I was like pulling these books out to do this video, I was like, why did I buy this one again? I totally forgot. I think my intention here was to use this one in the little free library, but Kate Morton is an author that I'm not really sure how I feel about her writing. I think I've read all of her books, and obviously like I find them decently interesting, but she writes such thick books. I mean, they're usually around 500 pages or just over kind of thing. None of them are like spectacular, but I feel like she uses a lot of words to describe. So, and often there's multiple timelines, so where it's usually like a little bit of history, usually in like maybe the early 1900s or so, and then kind of modern day, and we flip back and forth between like some kind of mystery slash sometimes like there's a little bit of like supernatural type stuff. This one is during a picnic at a family's farm in the English countryside. 16-year-old Laura Nicholson witnesses a shocking crime, a crime that challenges everything she knows about her adored mother, Dorothy. Now 50 years later, Laurel and her sisters are meeting at the farm to celebrate Dorothy's 90th birthday. Realizing this is her last chance to discover the truth about that long ago day, Laurel searches for answers that can only be found in Dorothy's past. I don't remember this book specifically, but I do know that I read it years ago. And that's the other thing too, is like I feel like all her books, I can't really remember one from the other. They don't really distinguish themselves apart from each other very well. Yeah. So that will probably just go in the little free library. Then this one I got from the thrift store, so it doesn't have a dust jacket, but this is Hidden Places by Lynn Austen. Someone recommended her writing to me. Oh, there is a address sticker in here from Washington. Like, I live in Saskatchewan in Canada, so that's interesting. This originally came from quite far away. So I think Lynn Austen is a Christian fiction, I think often historical Christian fiction. I got one of her books from the library recently and I shared it in my library haul. So I don't know what this one is about at all because it doesn't have the dust jacket or anything, but I just thought, well, since someone recommended it and you know it's at the thrift store, I'm going to grab it. Now it's like I'm sitting in the dark here. Okay, and then I picked up this really cute edition of Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales. So I think this had something like 12 of his fairy tales, and I've been wanting to read them because I keep reading like retellings and stuff, and I want to read the originals. So I'll have to put this on my TBR cart really soon. Then I got All Systems Red. This is, I think, the prequel or the first book in the Murderbot Diaries. Now, I don't know anything about this series other than Murphy talks about how it's about this robot who is supposed to be an assassin, but like just wants to sit around all day and watch soap operas. And for whatever reason, that sounded really interesting to me. It really piqued my interest. I liked the humor in that, and it's really short, like under 150 pages. So when I found it for really cheap, I was like, well, I'm gonna give this one a try because it sounds funny. So I have no idea what to expect there though. Next up are 3 completely cover buys. I looked at the covers and then I read a little bit about them and I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, but I like don't know if they're really gonna be good. So I got Heart of Thorns. Oh, for some reason it's really hard to read that cover. Let's see here. It says, in a world, Mia Rose wants only one thing, revenge against the Granch, who killed her mother. I don't know what that is. In a world where only women can possess magic, and every woman is suspected of having it, the half-girl, half-god Gwyranch are feared, reviled, and hunted. After training under her father and his infamous hunters, Mia is determined to scour the four kingdoms and enact the hunter's creed, heart for a heart, life for a life. But then her father announces a quite different future. She will marry Prince Quinn, heir to the throne. So I guess this is probably like YA fantasy. I wanted to like branch out a little bit and grab some books that sounded interesting, that I didn't know anything about, that I haven't heard other people talking about. And then I got Mapping the Bones. Mapping the Bones, yeah. This one says it's 1942 in Poland and the world is coming to pieces. At least that's how it seems to Chaim and Gittel. I'm terrible with names. Twins whose lives feel like a fairy tale torn apart, with evil witches, forbidden forests, and dangerous ovens looming on the horizon. But in all darkness, there is light, and the twins find it through Chaim's poetry and the love they have for each other. So this sounds like a Hansel and Gretel retelling kind of idea, but we will see. This next one is The Queen's Rising. This sounds like a YA fantasy where we follow a girl who has to pick one of the 5 passions, art, music, dramatics, wit, or knowledge, and she couldn't figure out which one, so she randomly picked one, it sounds like, and now she sounds like she's kind of hooked into some shady business here. I have no idea. I like the cover, so that's probably why I bought it. Okay, and then the next 4/1, okay, first of all, the next one finally finishes out a series that I bought, and that is If I Live. So this is the last of the Terry Blackstock If I Run series. So I've got If I Run and If I'm Found here, and yeah, so I can finally finish out the series, which has been one of my favorites of the year so far. I read this one, I just couldn't find a copy of it for a long time, and then I got a series I'm excited about. I just went ahead and I bought this entire series. Yeah, these are probably the only books on here. Yeah, these are definitely the only books on here that I actually paid full price for. I find Robin Hobb's books really hard to find in thrift stores, so I finally just bought them. This has been one of the books on, I had a list of I think 12 books I wanted to read this year, and her books are the only ones that I haven't actually read yet. So yeah, I started this on audio a while ago, and I don't know, I just felt like I needed the physical copies, so now I have them, and I really like this cover. And that's, oh dear, that's not gonna stay. Okay, that's that book haul. I do think that like I'm slowing down buying books, so either I will have book hauls less frequently or they will be like smaller book hauls, but I don't know, I feel like I've been learning about so many great books lately, and I love owning books and like feeling that like ebooks just don't cut it for me. So yeah, I would love to hear if there's any books on here that you really enjoyed that you think I should like prioritize, which ones I should add to my TBR cart like first. Yeah, let's just chat books in the comments like always. Thanks for watching, guys.